Hey everybody, this is Latoya, and thank you so much for coming on to my live video. All right, we got some light here. This is day 4 of the 21-day journey, how to live the golden life, volume 1, a journal for finding peace, progress, and prosperity in your purpose in 21 days. This is by Dr. Janae Elaine Walker. All right, so this is the book that we've been going over for the past few days now. And I want to give a shout out to my makeup artist, Miss Goodness. I just had like a brain fart if I've ever gazing at this beautiful eyeshadow job. But my makeup artist is Arnitra Pitt Salter, and she is in the Macon, Middle Georgia area. She did my makeup for my closing today. Yay! So excited. And just in case if you all don't know, I am a realtor here in the state of Georgia. I'm a mom of 3, and I talk about faith, family, and business. But for the next 21 days, or for the rest of the 21 days, I'll be on this book, just taking this journey. I have not done anything like this before, so really, it's not really about the amount of people that will come on. Even if you all see this years on down the line, it's about the consistency that I need to find within myself. So I'm going on a personal journey. You all may not see this anytime soon, but I thank you for anybody that's coming on for the replay. Thank you so much for coming on to view. All right, so we're going to jump right on into day 4. And this is called Determine God's Purpose for You. So Proverbs 19, verse 21, that's in the Amplified C version. Many plans are in a man's mind, but it is the Lord's purpose for him that will stand. So for what that means to me is, a lot of people think a lot of things. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. But at the end of the day, it's all about what God wants you to do. Like, it's about his purpose and his plan for your life. All right, so about day 4. I really and truly believe that God will bless whatever we set our hands to do. But I also believe that when we meditate on the word daily, day and night, and develop our relationship with God, we will know our purpose more clearly before we set our hands to do anything. Then, when we make our plans will align with God's purpose. He reveals to us through our relationship with Him. All right. So, the number one thing is to take action. Operate in your kingdom purpose. Pay attention to the signs and the prophetic that God has already revealed about your purpose. I got to do a whole series about a time span in my life from like maybe 2012 all the way up till about, I mean, it's still going. So, goodness, that's been, my daughter was born in 2012, my youngest daughter. I'll say for the past 8 years, almost 9 years of my life, I've been getting a series of prophecies that have been spoken of in my life. And sometimes I want to give up on those prophecies because I'm sick and tired of hearing about them, especially if they don't seem like they're working. But then again, I understand that prophecy is for a set time. So even though you may hear a word of prophecy, it doesn't mean that that word is meant right for then. It may be 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. It could be next month, but you have to just focus on your purpose for your life, which, okay, and then continue to go, and God will help you to align when you are open to what His plan. All right, so stay in close relationship with God so you can hear His voice regarding your purpose now through prayer, fasting, and reading His word. Affirmation, everybody. I will meditate on the word, pray, fast, and listen to God as He reveals His purpose for me. I will align my plans with His purpose. So you already know we go to the thoughts for your journal. What is God's specific purpose for you? And how will you begin to execute your plans now? So I know my purpose. I am here to break down walls. I'm here to set the standard. I know for a fact that I can be very quirky. I'm not for everybody, and I understand that's okay. And within me, as I get older, I get it. I'm not for everybody, and I've seen in so many different circles where everybody could be laughing and talking and tripping out, but until I come and walk up, it's kind of like, okay. But I understand that we have to be different. We've got to be the salt of the earth. And when you understand who you are in Christ Jesus, you don't worry about whether you'll fit in with other people. You don't worry about if they'll like you. You're not here for that particular purpose. You're here for God's plan. And when you find out your purpose in Him, then you'll be good a lot of times by yourself. Most of the time, I find peace in being by myself. I don't know what it is, but I find peace in being by myself. I already have three amigos. So, everybody else is extra. I'm grateful for everybody else. But when it comes down to having to have people around me, I don't have to. But I know that my purpose for life is to make sure that I'm setting a standard and making sure that I like justice. I realize that when I see people being done wrong and I can see it because I see the spirit that most of the time that you're operating in, you could say that you meant one thing, but I know deep down in my spirit that that's not what you really meant. So I'm looking at you sideways because I'm like, yeah, I see through what you didn't speak, what you're not really saying. Because you could be saying one thing, but your spirit is doing a whole nother. It's the spirit of manipulation that I see. So my purpose is to I can see those things and I call those things out. And most of the time, people they'll put a target on your head in the realm of the spirit because they don't like to be found out, right? So, anyways, that's more of who I am as far as in the spirit. But in the natural business, I mean, I love to encourage people. I love to be a pioneer. Even if it doesn't quite take off right then, I don't mind trying it because I pioneer. Pioneers are, they're not really revered in the very beginning. People will kind of look at you and just be like, well, that's not going to work. But then later on, they'll catch hold to it and then they'll start to implement it like they were the creators of it. But pioneers are the ones who started. Everybody else, they come along and they carry the torch, and then some people they carry it until the completion. So, all right, so direction you will have me to go. I have so many amazing plans that I know you will prosper. But I want the plans you have for me. That's all that I want. I don't want my plans anymore. My plans suck. And I realize that when I just focus on my plans, I fail. So I believe I've heard you in my prayer time and through prophecy, but make your purpose clear to me in this season. Please, God. Like, that's all I want for the rest of my life. For so long, I've been outside of the will. I don't want anything else. I'm not interested. Just not. I can do without. So your day four prayer points. I'll have to write that down in my spare time. But prayer strategy. Which strategy did God give you in prayer today? Okay, so like I said, today was my closing. I had a few things that I had to do to get ready for closing. I woke up super early today to make sure that everything was straight with my kids before I left the house. But then I went on to go see my makeup artist, obviously, and then come back home, got dressed, made sure that the kids were straight again. And I had to handle some things in between leaving out of the house, like making sure that all the logistics were taken care of. One of the specific things was the closing was out of town. And the house that we were closing on was in another town. So I had to leave from my town, and at first I was gonna have to go to the end result where the house was located because I needed to go pick up the key. But because there was a mix up with the keys, the storm door was locked. Long story short, so the sellers had to come and bring the keys to that agent who was wanting to take the buyer for the walk-in or walk-through. How did God, if I had not been listening to God and say, hey, don't stress, I know this is a lot at the end, the very end, but stop stressing about everything, right? So I would have had to deal with a tight schedule, but I didn't have to worry about it because ultimately, because that's the storm door was locked, that meant that the seller and the buyer had to come together. I'm at point A, they're at B and C. B and C were obviously closer to each other as opposed to me having to go from A to B and all the way over to C. B and C met up and I didn't even have to touch it. So it cut out maybe about 45 minutes of travel for me. I mean, literally to get to where I need to get and then possibly back to the closest table. I would have been late. So God worked it out. But if I had not just chilled and asked the Lord, I was talking to my oldest daughter about, oh my God, I don't know what I need to do. I need to make sure that I have everything taken care of in a timely manner. And she's like, Mom, just pray like you normally do. Isn't that a blessing for my teen to see that her mother prays? That's the thing about it. And that's what's most important to me is that my kids see me praying. And when she reminded me, she said, Mom, just pray like you normally do. And as I was praying, the answer was coming together. I didn't even have to go all the way to that end result. Why? Because God was already working it out in the process. So all I had to do was just finish getting myself together, making sure that they were together, and then take that smooth ride on up to point B, right? And then in the end, after the closing, which went so smooth, we had some laughs, everything was wonderful. I already knew after the closing, guess what? I had to leave from point B to go to that point C anyways, but I didn't have to worry about the time frame at that point. And I had to go pick up the sign and the lockbox. So God worked it out to where, hey, I'm going to take the stress off for you because I know you're trying to get everything done. I know this is brand new to you, and I don't want you to be frustrated. So, being God's plans and his purpose for your life, he'll work everything out for you on time. So I got a chance to, on my way from B to C, I got a chance to pray and just be at peace. And I told you from day one, peace was my number one thing that I wanted. Peace, because I'm all about on this journey making sure that I'm more timely when I need to get somewhere. Time management is important to me, logistics are important to me, and then clear, concise communication is even better to me. So when everybody is on the same page and is clear and concise, I can do all things through Christ, right? So I got a chance to talk to God, and that was the most important thing to me. And other reference scriptures, you already know I have to go in after we get off here and write in my reference scriptures. Unleashed to lead. Leadership application. Listen intently today. Write down all you hear Holy Spirit saying today. But then write down all the prophecies you hear and see from others today. What do people ask you to do? Most of the time people ask me for clarity because what I tend to do, and this is what I found out my name was years ago. Queen, defender of mankind. And what I found out for so long, I found myself in the middle, trying to be almost the mediator or the intermediary. So I'll hear what one person is saying, and it seems like in between getting to this next person, it gets all jumbled up, and they're not saying the same thing. It's like a clash, and I'm wondering, but I hear what you're saying, and then this whole mess, and but oh, this is what this person is saying, and this is what this person is understanding. Do you all both understand? That's who most of the time people come and ask me to do, because it's like, well, Toya will understand what I'm talking about. And I don't know, maybe it's a gift. I don't know. I try my best to hear both sides, and then I'll go in and say, nah, but that's not what you said though. But if you said it this way, that person will receive you better, right? And I guess that maybe comes with age and maybe with prayer. But most of the time I see people asking me for clarity, like, hey, can you help me to clarify this? Or you're better suited at talking to this person because I know they'll listen to you. It's maybe they'll listen to me maybe because God's favor or grace that's on my life. But I realize that when I'm communicating with people, it's I try my best to find a point of entry where they can comprehend what I'm saying, but to make sure that everybody is on the same page, because I hate confusion. But I feel like when people learn how to communicate well and say what you mean, like that's what I try to teach my kids. Say what you're trying to say. If you are wanting something, don't go around to tell me, hey, I want this popsicle. Tell me you want the popsicle, right? And mama's gonna make the popsicle happen. And that's what I find myself. It says, what do people ask you to do? Most of the time, they ask me for clarity to help communicate in between different systems, different people. Um, I have an ear for the children as well. Like, for example, younger kids or even older kids. Because I used to do communities in schools years ago when I was like, what, 19, 20 years old. And I remember even being around the high schoolers and middle schoolers, and they would come and tell me different things. And it was like, well, this teacher doesn't really understand what I'm saying. And I would try to get what the team was saying or the middle schooler was saying and try to bring that back to the teacher in a way that the teacher could understand, but it wasn't insulting, and just kind of help those people to. It's meta communication is what I learned when I was at Wesleyan. Wesleyan taught me a whole lot. It was about meta communication. It's communication about how we communicate, right? It's that come almost like a come to Jesus conversation, and but I don't like when you talk to me like this type of thing. Or if you would explain it to me this way, maybe I'll understand that type of conversation. But yeah, so that was one of the questions that, and that hits me in my core because that's a passion of mine. That's an extreme passion of mine is clarity. I like peace and I like clarity. And when I don't have that, you use what you hear and see to improve your leadership. Um, I'll say that I just want to get better at that. I mean, even if it's a gift, I don't even know if it's a gift. I would think that it's a gift to be able to communicate with people. I mean, from all walks of life, so many different types of people that I've been around. I've been blessed to be around thousands of people throughout my life, and just being able to get around them to communicate and see what they mean to communicate with other people. So, um, and my last page before we get to day number 5, I really like this one because it brought me back to one of my courses when I was at Wesleyan College. It was in communication. They say don't say communications because it's wrong, but it's communication. I understood it. And maybe I should have had more classes in communication where I could get down to the different theories that they had. I used to love that. I had a professor, she is now my Facebook friend. Her name is Dr. Cindy Buell. And I loved how she communicated, but she was a communication major and she better and better and better at communication. She was the one that forced me to bring it on out of more of who I wanted to be. And I feel like my leadership style is I like clarity. Be clear, be concise, be simple. Come to me, tell me what you need. Even if you come to me and it's all garbled up, we're gonna go through like, have you ever had like a necklace that was tangled up? And we're gonna, or wires, your Christmas lights, and you gotta go through all of those lights to pull the cords loose. That's what I like to do. I like to go in to figure out where's the end, where does it start, and where does it end, and everywhere in between there, we're gonna work it out, right? So examples like that, I try my best to help people to comprehend. We bring it down to your level. That's my leadership style, meeting you where you are. Okay, so getting the picture, track your purpose. So create a timeline to cover the following age ranges from 0 to 18. I think 16 to 18 was some of the more painful years of my life. 19 to 24 was probably even worse. And then 25 to 35, I think from the age of what, 16 until maybe not too long ago, it was just, but as I started to get better with God, He started to untangle my wires and just to love on me to see my beginning and my ending. I haven't gotten to my ending yet, but he's taken to loose those wires that have been tangled up in my life, giving me some clarity of who Toy is and who he needs for me to be, for myself, my children, for the people. And at each of these stages, how did God to begin? How did He begin to reveal um, your purpose to you? I'll give you one quick story. I remember when I was younger, I was more active in church. And I think around the age of 20, 19 or 20, well, at 18, I went off to college. But during that time, between 19 years old, my senior pastor, who had already been my childhood pastor for a very long time, he got ready to transition out of the city that he'd been in for a long time. And it devastated our church because, you know, you get so caught up in a person and not really realizing that that person has a destiny on their life, and people are not designed to stay in specific spots, especially when you have a larger ministry on your life, right? He may take you and he may take you to from where you grew up and move you all the way on the other side of the world because somebody in that part of the world needs what you have to offer. And at that point in time, even though I was devastated, I started to realize that my strength was not in man, but it was in God, because I was going to find my stability again, but it wasn't going to be within a person. Because if a person can leave and my life will be shattered, then what was the purpose of my living? Because what, just because that person moved, does your life end? Just because that person passes away, does your life end? No, it doesn't. Your life should be focused on God's purpose. And yes, it doesn't mean that you won't be hurt or affected by that person leaving. You have to understand who God has made you. And sometimes God will shift people out of your life so you can stand up and so you can push forward to get to the place that He's always destined you to be. Sometimes is that you have become so dependent on other people and riding their coattail that you have not stood up to be who He has designed you to be. So as I look back through those age groups, I definitely see various parts of my life, because I'll be 38 May 6th. Various parts of my life where I'm just like, I just had a hard time. But I realize who is my center, who is my everything now. And I hope this message gets to somebody and it really impacts you. That leads me on to the section called Impact. How does today impact your peace? I kind of already went into that when I showed you all. I got a chance to talk to God, and God worked out my situation right in front of my face. So that's how my today impacted my peace. And then the quote of the day: people don't approach the creation of success as a must have obligation, do or die mission. Gotta have it. Hungry, go on the back of a meat truck mentality. Then they spend the rest of their lives making excuses for why they didn't get it. Grant Cardone. I'm surprised that she had Grant Cardone in here because he is the person who talks about 10x. I love him. He comes from a past of addiction, but then he got into like car sales, I think. But now this guy is, he has this private jet, he has this beautiful wife, his daughters, and they are everywhere. He's amazing. And I'm surprised that she used a quote from him because I absolutely love Uncle G. That's what we call him affectionately, Uncle G. Self care for peace tip. Take a nice bubble bath and relax your mind. I am not a bubble bath type of girl. I do like a nice, beautiful shower with shower heads spraying everywhere and just let me melt my day away in that water. and just let it wash. Let me see it go down the drain. That's what I like. I don't like to sit in it. I like to let it go on out. Let me see it get on off of me and go on off, going out the drain. So I thank you so much, everybody, for watching this video. I hope that you all have gotten something absolutely amazing from it. You all can do everything that you put your mind to. I'm so happy that you came today, and I look forward to talking to you. This is the golden life, everybody. I love you. Thanks for coming to watch. My name is Latoya. I talk about faith, family, and business. And have an awesome, awesome evening. Bye.